Walk into most any home in this country and open the medicine cabinet, and it's full. A bottle for the headache, a bottle for the cough, a bottle for the stomach, a bottle for the sleep, a bottle for the aches, a syrup for the children, a dozen more besides, most of them half used and half expired, costing a small fortune over the years. Open the same cupboard in an Amish home, and you'll find it mostly bare. A few simple things, honey, some dried herbs, salt, and not much else. And today I'm going to tell you why that is and what we use instead. But I'm going to be honest with you right from the start, because this is a subject where being clever with words could actually hurt somebody, and I'd never do that to you. This is not a video telling you that medicine is bad, or that you should throw out your prescriptions. It isn't. My people use doctors, and we're grateful for them. So let me tell you the real, honest answer, which is better and more useful than any conspiracy anyone could sell you. Let me give you the honest heart of it right up front. My people don't have a cabinet full of bottles, for two reasons, and neither one is what folks expect. The first reason is that most of those bottles don't cure anything, and I don't mean that as an accusation. I mean it as a plain fact that any honest doctor will tell you flat out. That bottle for your cold doesn't cure your cold. Nothing cures a cold. It eases the symptoms while your body does the actual work of getting better. Same with most of the rest of that cabinet. They're comfort, not cure. And once you understand that most of what's in there is easing symptoms rather than healing anything, you start asking a fair question, which is, does easing this particular symptom need a bottle from a store, or would something simpler do just as well? And very often, for the small, everyday complaints, something simpler does. That's the first reason. The second reason is bigger, and it's the one that actually matters. My people don't need much from that cabinet, because we don't get many of the small everyday complaints it's meant for. And that's not luck, it's the life. Hard physical work every day. Whole food, not much sugar, nothing from a factory. Early to bed and real sleep. Time outdoors in the air and the sun. Low stress and close community. A body living like that simply has fewer headaches, fewer bad stomachs, less trouble sleeping, fewer aches, less of nearly everything that fills a modern medicine cabinet. So we're not treating those complaints with old remedies instead of bottles. We're mostly just not having them. That's the honest answer, and it's far less exciting than a secret cure, but it's true, and it's the only part of this that will actually change your life. Now let me tell you what is in our cupboard, the few simple things, and what they honestly do. There's honey, and it's the most used thing we have. A spoonful for a sore throat and a cough, and this one is genuinely well-founded, not folklore. Honey truly does soothe a raw throat and calm a cough, and the doctors will tell you the same. Never for a baby under 1 year old, though. Ever. And I mean that seriously, because honey is genuinely dangerous for the littlest ones. There's salt. A warm saltwater gargle for a sore throat, which genuinely helps, and which any doctor would tell you to do. Salt water for rinsing things clean. There are a few dried herbs from the summer garden. Mint for an uneasy stomach after a heavy meal. Chamomile to settle and calm before sleep. Ginger for warmth and a queasy stomach. These are gentle, pleasant, comforting things, and they are genuinely comforting, and that's all I'll claim for them. There's a warming salve for a chest and an aching back, and hot water for steam, and a hot water bottle or a warmed stone for aches and cramps and cold. Heat is one of the oldest and best comforts there is, and it costs nothing. And there's the great one, the one that does more than everything else on the shelf combined. Rest, warmth, water. A body given rest and warmth and fluids will heal itself of most ordinary small illness with a power that no bottle can match. That's not old-fashioned romance, that's simply how bodies work. Our whole approach when someone's ailing is to stop, get warm, get fluids in, and sleep long and deep, and let the body do what the body does. That's the cupboard. Honey, salt, a few herbs, heat, and rest. And for the small, ordinary run of everyday complaints in a family living a healthy life, that genuinely covers most of it. Let me press harder on that second reason, because it's the whole thing, and I want you to really sit with it. Go through a typical medicine cabinet in your mind, bottle by bottle, and ask honestly what each one is for. Something for headaches, something for heartburn and indigestion, something to help you sleep, something to help you wake up, something for aches and stiffness, something for constipation, something for anxiety and nerves. Now look at that list all together and tell me honestly, does that look like a list of diseases, or does it look like a list of symptoms of a life? Because to my eye, that's not a sick body. That's a body that's sitting too much, eating food from a factory, drowning in sugar, short on sleep, short on sunlight, short on movement, and carrying more worry than it was built to carry, and telling you so in the only language it's got. Every one of those bottles is answering a complaint that the life underneath is generating fresh every single day. And so the bottle gets bought again and again, forever, and the complaint never stops, because nothing about the cause ever changed. That's not a knock on anybody. Most folks never chose that life. They were born into a world arranged that way. But it does explain the cabinet. And let me tell you what our days actually look like so you can see where the difference comes from, because there's no mystery in it. We're up before dawn and moving. The work is physical and it lasts all day, walking and lifting and hauling and swinging in the air and the light, in every weather. The food is whatever we grew and raised and put up, cooked at home from scratch, whole, with very little sugar in it. There's no screen, no scrolling into the night. When the dark comes and the work's done, the family eats together and talks and then goes to bed, properly tired, and sleeps long and deep. And the people around us are people who know us and would show up for us in an hour if we needed them. Now, a body living that way tends not to have much trouble sleeping, because it's genuinely tired. It tends not to have a wrecked stomach because of what's going into it. It tends not to ache from stiffness because it's moving all day. It tends to carry less worry because there's a community holding it up, so there's simply less for a cabinet to treat. That's the honest mechanism, and there's nothing mystical about a single part of it. I'll tell you plainly, my people are not superhuman and we get sick. Colds go round, backs go out, folks catch things, children get fevers. We're ordinary human beings with ordinary bodies, and I'll not have you thinking otherwise. The difference isn't that we never ail, it's that the small, nagging, everyday complaints, the kind that make a person reach for a bottle 2 or 3 times a week for years on end, are far less common in a life lived like ours. And when we do get properly sick, we do exactly what I told you before. We stop, get warm, drink, and sleep, and give the body its best chance. And when it's beyond that, we go to a doctor, same as anybody. That's the whole honest picture, with nothing dressed up. Let me say a word about the children, too, because that's where folks are most anxious and most easily misled. When one of ours has an ordinary cold, we do the simple things: fluids, rest, warmth, honey if they're over a year old, steam for a stuffy head, a quiet day at home. And that's usually the whole of it, and they're right as rain in a few days, the same as any child anywhere. But hear me clearly, because this matters more than anything. A sick child is not the place to be stubborn or clever or proud about old ways. A high fever in a little one, a child struggling to breathe, a child who won't drink, a child who's limp or won't wake properly, a rash that worries you, a baby under a few months old with any fever at all, any of those, go to a doctor immediately, and you don't wait and you don't second guess it. Children go downhill faster than grown folks, and a parent's gut instinct that something is wrong is worth more than any remedy I could name. My people have buried children in generations past for want of the medicine that exists today, and we know exactly what that medicine is worth. Nobody who's been through that would ever tell you to keep a sick child home with a spoon of honey. So use the simple comforts for the small things and run to the doctor for the rest, and never let anything you hear from a stranger slow you down when your child needs help. And let me be honest about the old days on this subject too, because it would be a lie to romanticize them. Folks in those days suffered a great deal that nobody needs to suffer now. They died of infections that a few days of the right medicine would clear up today. Women died in childbirth. Children died of illnesses we now prevent entirely. There was pain that went untreated because there was nothing to treat it with, and folks endured it because they had no choice, not because enduring was noble. Toothaches went on for weeks. Broken bones set crooked. When I tell you my cupboard is nearly bare, I am not telling you the old days were better. They were harder, and in many ways crueler, and a great many people we'd save now simply died. The medicine we have is a mercy, and the old folks would have wept with gratitude for it. I want that on the record plainly, because there are people out there selling a fairy tale about the past, and it does real harm. Now let me be the honest, careful neighbor, and I need you to hear this part more than anything else I've said, because this is where careless words could genuinely hurt someone, and I won't have that. I am not telling you that medicine is bad. Modern medicine is one of the great goods of this world. It cures things that killed our great-grandparents' children. It sets bones and stops infections and treats conditions that no amount of honey and rest would ever touch. My people go to doctors. We're grateful for them. Anyone who tells you that all bottled medicine is poison and the old ways are all you need is either a fool or selling something, and either way, they could get someone killed. I'll not be that person. So hear this plainly. If you take a prescribed medicine, keep taking it. Do not stop your medicine because of anything you heard from me or from anyone else on a screen. If you're managing a real condition, a heart condition, diabetes, blood pressure, anything, that's between you and your doctor, and a spoonful of honey has nothing whatever to do with it. Do not substitute an old comfort for real treatment. Ever. And know the difference between the small and the serious. Honey and rest are for a scratchy throat and an ordinary cold. They are not for a high fever that climbs and won't come down, trouble breathing, severe or sharp pain, a sickness that keeps getting worse instead of better, anything that frightens you, anything in a very young child or a very old person that seems off, or any of 100 other things that need a doctor now, not tomorrow. Go. Don't wait. Don't be brave about it. The old comforts are for the small, everyday things, and the doctor is for everything else. And the wise soul knows the difference and uses both in their proper place. And a couple more honest cautions. Some herbs interact badly with medicines, genuinely so. So if you're on anything, ask your doctor or pharmacist before dosing yourself with herbal things regularly. Natural doesn't mean harmless, and plenty of natural things will hurt you. And there's nothing virtuous about suffering. If you've a splitting headache and a plain pill will fix it, take the pill. My people aren't proving anything by hurting. With all that said, honestly, let me tell you what I actually think the lesson here is, because it's not what the title might have led you to expect, and it's far more useful. The real lesson is that we've come to treat symptoms as the enemy and bottles as the answer. And in doing so, we've stopped listening to what our bodies are telling us. Think about it. You're tired all the time, so you take something to wake up and something else to sleep. Your stomach's a wreck, so you take something for it. You've got headaches, so you take something. Your back aches, so you take something. And nobody ever stops to ask the obvious question, which is, why is my body doing all this? Because a body that's constantly producing headaches and bad sleep and stomach trouble and aches is a body that is trying very hard to tell you something. And the bottle's job, quite often, is to make it shut up so you can keep going exactly as you were. My people don't have those bottles because we don't have those symptoms, and we don't have those symptoms because of how we live. So when I say we never buy bottled medicine, understand what I'm actually claiming. I'm not claiming we found better medicine. I'm claiming we mostly avoided needing it by living in a way that doesn't generate a constant stream of small ailments. That's the whole thing. It's not the cupboard, it's the life. And that's the part that's available to you, whoever you are and wherever you live. You can't Amish yourself overnight, and I'd not ask you to. But you can move your body every day. You can eat whole food and cut the sugar hard. You can sleep properly instead of scraping by. You can get outside in the light and air. You can build some real community around you. And if you do those things honestly and over time, you will find you need that cabinet less. Not because you found a secret cure, but because you stopped generating the complaints. That's a real thing. That's not folklore. And it's worth more than every bottle on the shelf. And there's one more piece of our cupboard that I've not named yet. And it's not a thing at all. It's the people. When someone in our community is ailing, they're not alone with it. Folks come. Someone brings the broth. Someone takes the children for a day. Someone does the chores and milks the cow so the family can rest. Someone sits with the sick one so they're not by themselves. And I tell you honestly that being cared for like that does something real for a person that no bottle on any shelf can do. A body that's resting easy, with the worry taken off it because the neighbors have the work covered, heals better than a body that's lying awake fretting about who'll do the milking. That's not superstition, that's just true, and any nurse will tell you the same. So a great deal of what fills our medicine cupboard isn't in the cupboard. It's the people who show up. And that's another thing the modern world traded away. Everyone alone in their own house with their own bottles, nobody coming, nobody bringing the broth. If you take nothing else from this, take that one. Build people around you. It's medicine, and it's free, and it works. So here is what I'd leave you with, honestly. Don't throw out your medicine cabinet. Don't stop your prescriptions. Don't be foolish with your health or your family's. And please, go to a doctor when something's genuinely wrong, and go early. That's the wisest old way there is. But do this for the small everyday things, the scratchy throat, the uneasy stomach, the tiredness, the ache. Try the simple old comforts first, the honey and the salt gargle and the warm tea and the heat and the early night's rest, and see how often that's genuinely enough. And then look harder at the life underneath. Ask why your body keeps producing whatever it keeps producing, and go to work on that, on the food and the movement and the sleep and the sunlight and the people around you, because that's where the real answer lives, and it always was. Because in the end, my people don't have a cupboard full of bottles for one plain reason. We mostly don't need them. And that's not a secret anybody hid from you, and it's not a remedy anybody's selling. It's just a way of living, and it's the oldest medicine there is, and it's been available to you this whole time. If this is the kind of honest old wisdom you've been hungry for, the kind that respects both the old ways and your real well-being, and that tells you the truth, even when the truth is less exciting, then stay here with me. There's so much more where this came from, and I aim to bring it back to you, one piece at a time, always honestly, always with care for your true good. Subscribe, and we'll keep remembering the old ways together, because some of the most valuable things we ever knew are the simple ones we let ourselves forget, and the plain truth that how we live is the best medicine we've got is surely one of them. And please, do go to a doctor when you need one. That's the wisest old way of all.